You make me laugh. Hulk Hogan.
Oh boy.
You see that?
Alexa, stop, honey. Another show. I'm holding the shirt here from the Lakeshore Ice Palace Tournament of Beers,
Yeah.
which our boys played in last weekend. I went down with my wife and Aaron and had an outstanding time. The boys all signed the shirt for our son Aaron. What a great group of young men. It was a fun tournament, well done by Lakeshore.
Yeah, it's a good turn every year, yeah.
Guys go down, they have RVs and stuff, and they camp and make a weekend of it. For the most part, the games were all very good, sportsmanship,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yep.
You play, the guys getting together having some fun. But to the team, Mike Capizzi, he was the captain of the team. You had JP and Opie. We had the Buff State line. You had the nephew line.
UB line.
The UB line, that's right, UB line. You had the nephew line, Tommy John, Ryan, and Alex.
We call it the rat line. They were really good.
They were very good. You had Bull, Hunter, you had Justin on D, you had Skorka.
We got them all.
I'm trying to think of some names.
C-Zap on D.
C-Zap. The goalie, Chris Berkland or something.
Yeah, I forgot his
Burkle,
last name.
something like that. And Brian Mendel went down. He didn't play, but he
drank a lot.
He has played on the team, and I hope I'm not forgetting a name. Just a great group of young men.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
And I had a ball down there, and they won the championship, which was made it better, obviously. But just a fun weekend.
You went the whole weekend or saw everything. I was there on Saturday to see two of the games, and just had a complete riot. I mean, the boys. They were playing, well, they're not boys really, they're men. They were playing, and but they did their share of drinking some beers and stuff, and we laughed our butt off all day.
It was a good, it was good. It's always good watching my boys play no matter what age they are.
Me too.
Alex was out there. Zach was home with Owen.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't make it. But Skorka, I went through the list. Just a great job. They were up in our room Saturday night. Just a really good, polite group of young men, and gives you a lot of hope for the future there,
That's right. All those kids were raised right,
They really were, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of ball busting back and forth and stuff, and not to be outdone, my daughter also played in Canada in a tournament with her girls team. They made it to the finals and were basically screwed over by the Canadian refs, and we won't get into the details of it, but basically it was a hose job by Canadians because they were Americans.
Yeah.
Nothing more to be said about it. And just goes along the line of the lack of respect that we get and stuff. And but Mary played outstanding. There was a little sibling rivalry who would score the most. Tommy John ended up getting the most goals, but because of the knucker screw job and stuff, I've decided to declare a tie. They're all going to get themselves a nice little cookout or a dinner of their choice somewhere. So I declared them all winners.
Could be dad of the year. I mean, so I missed the final, and I was trying to watch on Live Barn, but Zachy had Live Barn on, so he was updating me, and it was 2-2 after 2 in the championship, and then 3-2. We tied it up. Then they scored immediately. It's 4-3. But then I think Zach or Alex hit C-Zap for the tire at 4-4. Someone, I think the UB line scored with 27 seconds to go, and then we hit an empty net. So really good stuff. Played a good team.
By the way,
we lost that team last year.
Yeah, Evolution or something they were called. About 3 feet off sides, they were coming in, and our whole bench and everything said offsides, no call. And luckily, one of our guys stole the pass and put it in the empty net. But one thing did happen in the end that irked me. This big guy came out of the bar, and he's pounding the glass behind our goalie late in the game. And not just pounding the glass, shaking the boards and calling him every which name but loose. And at one point he says, "You're not going to hold it, you're not going to," and they scored on the kid. He was rattling them. And meanwhile, the tournament director is neatly folding hoodies and shirts, and not to be outdone, of course, I had to
well, you got to get in there.
Ascertain my 2 cents, and but it's just It's just a Ben's league. No, you're not doing that against my guys. It's just not happening. And it wasn't just, it was silly. It was assless chaps and bullshit like that. And the kid was hearing it. And there was no reason for that. And the tournament director's right there.
Yeah, that's crap. I mean, when I pound on the glass, it's because my goalie made a good save, and it's once or twice. I'm not rattling boards.
And by the way, pounding on the glass, guys, it's not like the you hear in the Key Bank Arena or at.
Right.
This guy was so big, he was shaking the glass.
Yeah, that's.
And I finally, had a few unpleasantries toward him, and but I'm not going to take it, and I just, but yet.
After when the guy came over, he did kind of knock the shit out of Tom. We had to get him to the hospital.
No, those
strong
days.
Memorial.
the Greco-Roman, Marcus Queensberry days are over. But I'm not.
But you're not taking any shit.
Not taking it. It was affecting the kid, and our guys on the bench couldn't tell. The referee couldn't tell. They're involved in a game, but the tournament director is standing there, holding his T-shirts.
The bottom line is the hip tells it like it is. We also don't take any shit.
No, and so I gave him a couple of unpleasantries, and some of our fans were perturbed over there, but
guess who spoke up?
Leave it to the guy with 20 over 7,000 vision. But that's just the way it goes. We call it as we see it, or as I feel it in some words.
Yeah.
But fun tournament, awesome time.
Yeah.
I would do that again.
I go every year. I've gone the last 3 years. No, I don't go for 3 days. I go for the Saturday, but it's a lot of fun.
We were in the hotel we had was a suite. It was a very nice room. The pull-out bed was horrific, and the bed we slept on was king size, but horrific. And if that's what they're asking our newfound friends to sleep on, I hope they are. But no, other than that, though, everything was just a great time.
That's nice in the middle of it is supposed to be spring, but it was like winter. So when you go away for a little
until
winter
Sunday was phenomenal, and the guys were out partying, not our team, but the guys with the tents and everything, and having cookouts. And unfortunately, they couldn't maybe got it was the wind more than anything on Saturday.
Yeah.
But Sunday was beautiful down there. It was great. But,
and so was Monday and Tuesday. We're back to rain in 42.
It's spring.
It's spring.
But we'll go to the latest news. I guess.
Saves. Saves. So the Saves. It's interesting. I just want to bring up, Tom, that if you listen to us 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half, whenever we did the show, we talked a lot about a few things. We talked about we got to fix the bottom six, right? We thought that they didn't give Granato enough, and he was going to be let go. We talked about a couple of things that came up in the press conference yesterday by Adams, and there are 2 quotes I want to give you that we can talk about. One of the quotes by Adams I thought was really interesting. He says, quote, "We're looking for accountability and structure." So keep that in mind, okay? And then they talked to Alex Tuck this morning at cleanout day, and they asked him about Gerard Gallant, who he played for in Vegas. And he said, "Oh, Gallant," he goes, "he don't take any crap." He goes, he'll push you right to the edge. And he goes, "Maybe we need that." Okay, so you got structure, accountability, and push you to the edge. Reading between the lines, it got a little too friendly in the locker room, and there wasn't enough, there was a lot of hugs and kisses and excuses, but not enough. Get the hell out there and win some games. Again, reading between the lines. I wasn't in the locker room.
And again, it's unfortunate. I think Donnie Granato, I didn't want to see him get canned. I understood if he was going to.
Yep.
I kind of thought he was going to.
Yeah, we kind of predicted it.
But he got that team out of the doldrums from that fraud that coached.
Oh, he did a nice job.
I think the message maybe got stale.
Yeah.
And there's a maturity factor there. And maybe that's what he's leaning toward too. But the onus is still on the players. But
yeah, definitely.
Going back, when you redo the season, and we have to because we have absolutely nothing in this town, media-wise, to give us an inside look. I immediately went to the NHL Network, got a lot more information from them. These dingbats on the local GR are horrific.
Yeah.
The season started off for us this year. We had a really solid season last year.
Mm-hmm.
everybody takes you a little more. You weren't going to take anybody lightly. We weren't going to be taken lightly by any teams this year.
Right.
We started the season off, and losing Quinn was way more important than everybody thought. We said how important it was, but that was a big loss. But we started off weak, but I think in goal. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're told on our local flagship station, and I use the term lightly, even with great goaltending, the Sabres couldn't do it. No, we didn't have great goaltending to the second half of the year.
So January 1st.
By then, we had already been falling into a pretty deep pit, which we told you on this show was hard to climb out of in December.
Yep.
All right.
Told you right out, you're not going to do it. In fact, let's just talk about this. From January 1st, it was a 93-point pace.
Right.
So they would have made the playoffs. The
Right.
problem was, again, the beginning. And to your point, when we started the year, how many times did you and I come on our show in the fall and go, you can't win with 8-12. You can't win with 7-7-8. I mean, I've never seen goaltenders in the NHL with save percentages like we saw in the beginning.
Near the end of the season with UPL, he was keeping us in games until we could get going. That happens to every team in hockey.
Right.
Right.
That's why you need a good goalie.
As the Sabres started going on, Cousins sustained an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Then we lost Thompson.
Yeah.
These are key guys. We're not good enough to sustain those losses. Every team gets injuries. We're not good enough yet
We don't have the depth.
to sustain that. All right. And some of those injuries were off of some crap shots from other teams, which he commented on. We need to be a little more abrasive in the bottom six.
Yeah, a little more gritty.
So jumping around a bit, I think Adams realized end of December, early January that we weren't going to be able to climb out of the hole. Not that he quit,
right.
but why didn't they do something at the trade deadline? Because there's nothing at the trade deadline. Number one.
No.
Number two, we got rid of some guys, gave them a chance to play elsewhere,
Right.
and our bottom six wasn't good enough. This team did get in by some stroke of luck. The bottom six on this team currently, as it's assembled, isn't good enough to do anything in the playoffs. So, guys, let's forget that right
nothing
now.
in the playoffs.
Why didn't they call up the guys in Rochester? Because the bottom line is, and here's what we've heard from the flagship, they refused to spend the cap. They didn't trade for big guys. My sources think that they had a 25, I'm using the beat reporter.
Yeah.
They had a 25-year-old top line center that refused to waive his trade clause. Bullshit. All right?
Yeah.
The way to win in this league is to draft right and develop and sprinkle in the right trade here and there and maybe a UFA, right?
Yep. And those got to be few and far between. Because they're usually old men overpaid.
We finally decided to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have patience. We didn't bring up the guys from Rochester because it's very important that they win and
experience the playoffs.
Experience the playoffs there.
Yeah.
Calling those guys up would lessen the challenge or lessen the opportunity of that happening there.
And this was fruitless. We knew that. They weren't going to tell you that, but they knew basically in December this was going to be a fruitless effort.
Right. And we pay a lot of money. Granted. But you want this done right, right? You want it done right.
Well, he said the other day, he wants to compete every year. He doesn't want to make the playoffs and fall off the face of the earth.
And a couple of things Adams also said. You heard from us here that Donnie Granato did not change the system into more defensive.
No.
All right?
It was just an emphasis.
But at the end of last year, the flagship station told us if the Sabres think they can just high fly and give up those scoring chances, they can't win. They told us that.
They did. And now they're pissed that we did it.
And now they're pissed that we did it. No, it's about the players for some reason didn't. Well, I think the injuries hurt. Mm-hmm. And there was some stubbornness with the structure and accountability. When guys string 4 guys across the line, don't stick handle through that shit. That's not on Granato.
No.
That's on the players. Now, do they need somebody to say, you limp dick, fuck, do it? I guess they do, right?
Maybe.
But
because he's I'm with you as far as Granato. Listen, he was perfect the last 3 years for this team. He got guys in the right situation. He got them through. He made them borderline superstars. Did they step back? Yes. But I guess the question then became, can he get him over the hump?
Step back in the fact of goals scored for the season, okay. But we also had guys injured.
Some were games
and
played.
And we're 6 points behind where we were last year, right?
Yeah.
All right. I guess it's a step back. All right. But regression and stuff. No, sometimes that shit happens.
Yes. it wasn't that bad considering everything.
The fans in Buffalo have no idea because all they get is the GR bullshit.
Well, yeah, if you don't really read forget the paper. If you don't read The Athletic, if you don't go to the ESPN, you don't go on NHL.com, you're going to read NHL Network. You're going to get complete crap in this town.
And even The Athletic and some of that's garbage. This Mike Carrington we haven't seen the owner in 4 years. Who really gives two shits?
I don't care. As long as
what owner in the NHL do you see in any press conference?
I haven't seen one.
And Kevin Adams let him have it for it.
He did, and that's the other thing. I think I was going to bring up briefly last week. You know, there's this whole anti-Pagula thing, and I'm struggling with it because here's what I say about Pagula. He comes in, he buys the team. Forget about drilling another well. Okay, you can mock him for that, but the bottom line, what it meant is I'm going to spend money.
Because the previous owner, the Rochester Hero, who did save the franchise,
right, but certainly didn't
wasn't going to spend a dime and didn't want it.
Right.
Make that clear.
Make it clear. So he comes in, he spends money. He goes out and makes bad decisions. Christian Ehrhoff, Billy Leno. Okay, we know that. Then he goes out and
he brought in hockey people that he thought he didn't actually make those decisions. The people he brought in, he trusted.
That's right.
To make those decisions.
Black and those guys. Yes, exactly. So then what has he done? He went out and got the guy we don't like, Bilesma. He won a Stanley Cup.
Everybody was hired as a rock for that.
They were hired as a rock. We kind of knew that Bilesma was not the real genius. It was Sid the Cock and the rest of them. So then that happens. Then he gets Housley. He's the biggest thing on ice. You got to get him. There's going to be a bidding war. We got to get Housley. We get Housley. Then, unfortunately, somehow the fraud, he wove a web around Adams and everybody, and they hired him, and they were quick to realize he was terrible.
And it was Bottrell that brought him in, right?
That's right. I'm sorry. It was Bottrell.
Who was the up-and-coming GM. You've got to get him. He built the Penguins into the best team in the galaxy.
I forgot to say that. You're right.
And Bottrell fizzled. Housley fizzled.
Right. Exactly.
We went into losing because the best players in the league, everybody, is as close to the number 1 overall pick as possible. Then it goes down. Are there exceptions? There's some.
Yeah,
but the best players are here. We were drafting Forever 12. Joel
15,
Armia. Gregorenko.
Right.
All right. They're not, in Joel Armia's case, he played a long career, but they're not guys that are going to change a franchise.
Not going to make a difference.
So we tank.
Yeah.
To bring in either Eichel or McDavid.
Yeah.
We got, by one ping pong ball, Jack Eichel, who has hoisted a cup before the Canadian Hero.
Right.
But not here. It was mishandled here with Bilsma and Kruger and leadership. Yet none of the GR beat reporters had any idea any of that dick was going on down there.
No.
Right?
Till it came out.
We missed you. We brought in Ryan O'Reilly, ROR, forever. He didn't get the captaincy. We spent a lot of money on him. Colorado wouldn't pay the money, even though Mom and Dad O'Reilly wrote a newspaper article out blasting the ownership group of Colorado.
Right.
We bring him in. He doesn't get the captaincy. He starts
sulks.
moping. He loses his love of the game because he wasn't captain. Do you want a captain slamming into a Timmy hose and running down the street in his flip-flops? That doesn't smell captain to me. Has a baby in early part of the year there, and he lost the love of hockey, but flies a jet after the last game of the year to Modo to play in the World Championships. He didn't take his baby with him.
No, or mama.
Or mommy. And then lastly, he had his brother brought in here and paid an unbelievable almost $2 million a year to play in the AHL.
Yeah, because he
We
wanted.
did all the favors for the O'Reillys, yet the Pagulas get blasted.
And let's go to Pagula. So everybody who says he hasn't paid to the cap the last 2 or 3 years, first of all, look at the God-blessed contracts he's given out, number 1. Number 2, I'm sure Adam said to him, hey, look, we got some guys coming due, all right? We got some really good players, i.e. the Paterkas, the Quinns, the Levis. We got some players who are going to get some big money here. We got to pay UPL. So they'll be to the cap soon enough. For all you people think he's saving all his money, they're going to be at the cap real quick.
Right.
And he just paid $4 million.
We didn't do anything in the summer to bring in free agents. Yet the free agent we did something this summer with, what are we doing when we overpaid him? How can we do it? Can we buy him out? Can we do this? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Kyle Oposo.
Yeah.
Who came in here and wasn't as good as everybody thought, right? I think on our books, we're still playing for Christian Softoff.
Yeah.
We're still paying for Billy Lane Duke. We're still playing for Cody Hotchdick.
Yeah.
All right, it goes on and on and on.
And we're paying now 2 years, $4 million for Don Granato. But
Right.
for everybody said he's so cheap he won't fire him. Well, he fired him.
The media here said he'd never get rid of the coach. That cousin it inflatable shit on GR said you won't pay 2 coaches. Well, he's paying 2 coaches.
Right.
Maybe 3 with Kruger. I don't even know.
Yeah, true.
All right, so the pounding on Pegula is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where is he? How come he's not here? Because personally, Mike, I think if I was him, I'd strangle your ass.
I wouldn't talk to you either.
My wife's really struggling. They did nothing but do the best they could for the city. The decisions didn't always go well.
But
Right.
again, go back to the decisions. I'm going to say 90% of the
Everybody agreed
decisions.
with.
You and I
did.
sat here and said, I love the O'Reilly
Other than
trade.
Bills
I
did.
love the Kane trade. I love getting the goaltender who was a drunk. We tried that. It didn't work. Okay, now we're going to go. Well, we got Jack Eichel. Oh, fuck, he don't want to be here. The whole bit. It's just unbelievable.
And another thing, too, I think if Terry has any fault, and I don't know this is true, he needed to go in the locker room and say, excuse me, quick question. Anybody here having a hard time cashing the checks?
Yeah.
Didn't think so. All right.
How about it?
O'Reilly was one of the guys that bitched because there wasn't an open bar on the flight home. With that kind of money, buy your own RNC, Ryan, for crying out loud, Terry.
Well, and I think that's the bottom line is I'm not going to throw stones at the Pegulas because I think it's GR and I think it's just common misconception in my mind.
It's poor media.
That he's the blame for this.
When he does speak, they mock him.
Yeah.
Ralph Wilson, when he spoke, he got mocked here, right? And was probably right 98% of the time.
He didn't get mocked in the NFL,
And
did he?
did more for this city than anybody I can think of cash-wise would put in his mouth. Made sure that Bills team wouldn't leave and put a lot of cash in this town. But he got mocked. So the media here kind of blows.
Well, and the funny thing is he goes to the NFL as part of committees, and Ralph Wilson was dead on. They were dead on. He was dead on when he spoke to the other owners.
He was
talked about what was going to happen with the NFLPA and all this and that. He was spot on.
And Paul Hamilton, I'm sorry, who wouldn't know a story if it hit him in his 9 chins, said he keeps constantly bringing up the constant losing and the mental weakness, and they bail under pressure. All right, the constant losing. The only guy left is Gergensons. What, is he slumped in the locker room? Gergie, what's up? You weren't here in 15. I mean, no, that's all he's got.
Yeah.
Okay? And the pressure, and Adams let him have it. These guys have pressure their whole life. What are you talking about?
He said you got scouts looking at him at 14 to play junior.
He doesn't have anything else. It's time to overhaul. And unfortunately, I like Martin Dan Barone and Duffer, but that's all analytics and this and that.
Pravda. It's basically Pravda.
I go by the eyes.
Yeah.
All right. This team isn't that far off.
Bottom 6.
If you're
We
frustrated,
got D, we got goalies.
I get it. I get the frustration.
First, let me say that you're absolutely right. Hello. We are as frustrated as anybody. We've sat with this team since 1970, and we want a winner. And the Bills and the Sabres are 118 years of nothing, and we get it.
GR makes you believe no one will come here. No one will waive their clauses.
That's not true.
We have a local lacrosse team, and a lot of those guys work side jobs. They would give their right arm to play in Bandit Land. Same arena, same filthy, dirty arena.
Right.
Same fan base, and they die to come here. They would do their banking job in Vancouver and fly a plane to play on a Saturday night.
Wasn't there 19040 Saturday?
1970. Right? They lead the world in attendance in that sport. People love that sport because the team plays hard. And here's what I think Adams is getting at, okay? The structure and stuff. When the Bandits started off 2 years ago, struggling a little bit, they had a team meeting.
Mm-hmm.
It's unacceptable here, that performance here. The players did. It wasn't Johnny T or Jugger.
That logo meant something.
It means something.
Our Sabre logo, I don't see it meaning as much to some of these players.
The standard, we have a standard here, and it means something. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so that's what I think he's getting at. Trying to stick handle through 4 guys instead of dumping the puck. The first game, the other night, Quinn tried to make a pass instead of taking a simple play.
Yeah.
Little things like that. I think the message from Donnie Granato wasn't getting through.
Yeah.
So there's our stance on that. Good players will come here. Paul Hamilton's assumption, and I'm naming it, and if you want to tell him to watch the show, feel free. Tell him to call me. Love to debate him. Okay? But good players will come here. What team at the trade deadline was trading a 25-year-old top-line center?
Nobody.
Who? Who the hell was trading that?
What, you wouldn't give up on somebody like that?
And if it was that, and the only reason I can imagine him not waiving it was because it's a playoff-bound team.
Yeah.
Well, why would a playoff-bound team do it? If it's a cellar dweller, would they rather go to Utah and Arizona? What team? No, it's bullshit. Bowen Byram had no problem coming here.
Yeah.
He loved it here.
There's the other part of that is if you're really going to give up on a 25-year-old great center,
And then,
the only reason you would too is if his contract was up, so he's a rental.
or is it Darlene? I mean, guys, and we're prospect out. We're prospect. I'm having a hard time. Fatigued. Well, guys, all those prospects we have doesn't mean all of them are going to skate in and we're going to hoist cup after cup.
No.
The more first round picks you get, the more chance you have of getting a good player. The more good prospects you get down in the Rochester and they start advancing, the better. And you're hoping to get one or two out of there.
That's right.
Right? And then as the team gets better and starts getting more mature, right? Toronto called up Bobby McMahon and he's skating backwards, all right? Well, yeah, because you can go fit into that Leafs team a little easier, like the Bills for years. In the 90s, for example, they'd call in a new Clifford Hicks.
Yeah.
Because you can fit into a veteran group laden team easier than coming in with all when you have to do more. The Sabres are hoping in Rochester to find guys. Yes, some of those prospects have to come through, right? But then when you get an injury, maybe a Brent Murray, maybe Osland, maybe steps in and fills that need there, or a guy gets a little bit out of your cap range. You bring that guy in. That's what the minors are for. But the core of the 07 Sabres team, that's the last team I ever knew that won. That team did very well in Rochester.
They did. They came up together.
And they came up together. That's what Kevin Adams is trying to do down there. Adams knows what he's doing. I believe in it. If you're frustrated, I get it.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
I get it. But have some faith. And players will come here. This is a good team. We need some sandpaper down there. And we can't keep getting our guys. Skinner tailed off a bit. That was a cheap shot from McKinnon. All right? We got to get a little grit there. And it can't be Tuck or Thompson doing that fighting. By the way, GR said, poor Max Pacioretty getting punched out by Thompson. That station blows. I'm not going to call it Yellow Pages anymore. They blow.
Yeah, they do.
And they give you get, everybody's entitled to their opinions, but they sit back and go, well, here's what you do. Trade 2 number 1s and Dylan Cousins and bring in a starting stud 26-year-old center with 100-point potential. Okay, great move. That's what we should do. Okay, next. Well, we got to get a receiver. Let's trade up and get, trade everything away. Blah, blah, blah on day 2 and 3. Let's just get everything and get so-and-so.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, we'll do that. And then when you do it and the guy doesn't succeed, well, then that disappears. It becomes another problem, right?
That's right.
But anyways.
Yeah, on to the Bills quickly because we got more to say. We'll have our draft show next Thursday.
From the Black Sheep Barbershop. By the way, I need it.
At Elma, New York, on Transit Road. We're going to be doing that. We'll have some interviews. This is going to be a kind of a tough night for us because we're going to have to get there early because we may well move into the top 9, 15.
I say we won't, but you never know.
Just in case, or else we're going to miss the Bills.
The makeup people have to know. Going back to the Sabres coach search, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote our shit leader.
Okay.
Lindy Ruff.
No.
Don't.
Don't do it.
No more Lindy. I know Jack Hughes said he was like a dad to me. Yeah. No, he's a mind game playing. His really time has passed. The Katie bar the door, soccer on ice, niet.
Let's go. I really would like to see Berube. I would like him. Probably he's my top guy. He's not a tyrant throwing shit at you, but he's not soft. And he went to the Stanley Cup. He won a Stanley Cup.
There are all kinds of
there's
rumors.
Guys. Yeah.
I mean, Adams seemed like he kind of had a plan. Could it be Rod the Bod? Yeah. I don't know.
Could be.
Jared Gallant's a name that's popped up.
Yep.
Craig
That's what we
Berube.
need now. We need a veteran. I don't want to put anybody that learned on the job anymore.
Michael Pekka was a nice story. No. Michael Pekka's an assistant, but I highly doubt it because he's with the Rangers.
Yeah.
But no, we need a guy now that's kind of done it, and these guys have to look at that, and it's serious time. Like Adam said, it's go time now.
Yeah,
and it's time, and they're good enough. They've proved that.
Yeah, they are. This will be interesting. But at least we took a step yesterday, 2 days ago, yesterday, and we moved forward. So
Whatever day it was.
Whatever day. I don't know where I am right now.
The Bills that we'll be doing the draft party. I don't really know. We'll have to do a little research on that. But we're going to be at the barbershop. You want to stop out and see us? We'll sign some autographs. We're going to have the straight from the hip ladies there. But
they will be scantily clad.
It will be. But no, we're going to do a lot more interaction with the crowd and stuff. Have a little fun with it.
We will. We'll be ready. I think what we'll do is we'll be ready in case there's a move up, and if not, we might break the show a little bit and then go on from there. But the one thing I was going to say is that you listen to GR. I get it from Tom because I really don't turn it on. They make me sick.
No, it's horrible.
They're the worst. They're calling it the wide receiver train. Choo, and you got to get a receiver. Now listen, I totally agree we need a receiver, but let's just calm down. I listened to somebody yesterday on a podcast I thought made a hell of a lot of sense. A couple smart guys and that I respect nationally, not just your guy in your basement like us. No, but he said this. He goes, look, when Kansas City traded away, the
right, Hill,
Tyreek. Everybody went in and said they've got to go first round and get a receiver. The first two picks were a corner and an edge rusher.
Oh yeah, it was.
And everybody, oh my God, what are they doing? Okay. Then they took that Sky Moore in the second or third round and it didn't work out. Next year they come back. Was it a first round guy for receiver? No. It was a defensive player, and who did they get? They went out and got Rice in the second round. The bottom line is this, and I agree with this completely. It's all about the quarterback. We have good players here, but we need to retool a little bit. We could use a corner, a safety, a defensive lineman. I know everybody hates that, but
defense, schmefense.
At this point, if we get a receiver in the second round at 60, I would say you should look at some history. There are guys that have been incredible receivers that have been taken in the second, third, and fourth rounds.
And remember this, Kansas City, when they made that trade, they didn't take a receiver with their first pick. It's because Kansas City and Buffalo are drafting in the high 20s.
Exactly.
Had they been at 1 or 2 or 3, they probably would have taken the stud receiver.
That's right.
But they deal with the cards they're dealt. So you don't reach for Jiminy Cricket from Auburn, who runs he's faster than a cheetah.
Yeah.
But he has no IQ. No, and you're giving up a good edge rusher or
a corner in their
corner
case.
or something. I mean,
no, that's exactly right, and I think so. What I'm trying to say for next Thursday is, don't listen to GR. Think for yourself. Read a few things. Do some research. There's a few places on this team we need to retool, but it's called retool. It's not rebuild. This is a hell of a football team.
Right.
And I tell you, with Josh Allen a quarterback, you get it. We've got weapons already. Get one more. I don't care when you get them. Brandon Beane knows a hell of a lot more than I do. Get them when you're going to get them. But if we see somebody drop and there's a stud at 28 and it's not who everybody thinks at wide receiver, I'm not going to go nuts on him. I'm just not. Let's let the people do their jobs.
He really hasn't made a whole lot of mistakes drafted.
No, he hasn't, and that's the bottom line. And so I just wanted to say that there's really not much else to talk till next year.
The Diggs thing, let it go. The dude came here.
I'm over it.
He played great here.
Yeah,
he played great. He's a diva. For whatever reason, it is what it is. I think he's still a very good receiver, but we move on. We'll never, ever know the true story. No. Who's right, who's wrong, who cares?
I've turned the page.
This group hasn't won anything yet, like Kevin Adams said about the Sabres. And I hope he does well in Houston, and we move. Everybody moves on. Diggs played his ass off here.
I pulled the Bob Seger. I've turned the page.
Right.
Now, I don't know. I got to get going soon, Tom, because I didn't tell you. I got to get over to Cheektowaga Town Hall.
Right.
Me and a couple buddies are going to chain ourselves to the front stairs because I'm going to ask this. I want free housing, no taxes. I want no property tax, free housing. I want better meals. I want free health care.
And you're going to get this
and some free gasoline.
straight from the hip. That technique is called the silent dragon.
Okay.
Where they chain themselves in the PVC pipes and then they chain themselves inside the car and yada yada. 5 hours on the Golden State Bridge. Okay? 5 hours, cops looking at them. It's got to stop. What if there's a pregnant woman in there, a guy with a heart attack? God knows what else is going on. I don't give two shits about Genocide Joe and genocide. The truth is,
well, first of all,
you believe in genocide too because you're singing genocide.
They're
you hypocritical jackoffs.
All around the United States, I've heard death to America, death to Israel, okay? And I'm okay with protest, but this bullshit of, there was a guy, I wish it was America, it wasn't. It must have been in Europe. There was a European guy gets out of his car. They're all laying across the street, and the guy gets out of his car, big guy, and
just a tank outside.
It sounds like a helicopter, and literally drag these people off the street.
No, and they're waiting for that to happen here, so Joy Reid can come on MSNBC and call it white supremacy, plantationism.
They don't have a right to obstruct traffic. They did it the other day at a New York City airport, and God bless it, people miss their flights and stuff. What the fuck?
They're waving Hezbollah flags, which I can't believe anybody makes that shit.
Who makes a Hezbollah flag?
What is it? It's a white sheet with ass white.
I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go over to the flag store in Depew.
Well, and
get a Hezbollah flag.
Dancing at 9/11. But we don't honor 9/11 anymore because Joe said it's time to move on.
Shitstick said it's time to move on.
All right. Yet he's telling people in Pennsylvania yesterday that Trump was at the burial ground of the D-Day guys saying they were losers. That never happened, you shit-stained piece of shit. You criminal. You socialistic son of a pup. But anyways, what I do on that Golden State Bridge, you bring a flatbed in, drag the truck up on there, throw them all on, their chains on the car, take them to some lot somewhere, we'll get back to it when we can.
Yep.
The chick glues herself to the asphalt. They cut her hand out. She goes to a hospital where they surgically remove it all. Who paid for that?
We did.
We did.
Here's what I say. Have a nice life. See you later there, asphalt.
You're going to wait a little bit, honey. Wipe the cooch with the asphalt. All right?
The cooch.
I am done with the Hezbollah support here and G.I. Jane and in the halls of Congress, a Palestinian flag there.
Unbelievable.
This is happening. We've been invaded with this socialistic leadership group. Tell your socialistic friends, these aren't our dad's Democrats anymore.
No, this is socialism.
These are socialistic lunatics that are destroying the country. I don't know if it's not too late.
I don't either.
Okay?
I don't either.
But sooner or later, some of these people are going to start getting pissed off. Going to Chickawaga here, our youths took bikes in the Galleria Mall and rode around punching and kicking white people in the mall.
God, I wish I was there.
Could someone stick a microphone in Claudine Ewing, Byron Brown, some activist, and ask, why is this allowed? What is this behavior for?
Bye, Dad.
Yeah.
Bye, honey. Who's taking you?
Tia.
Be safe. I love you.
Love you too, see ya.
Bye, honey. Bye, Mike. They're going to a wedding in Wisconsin. But I am done with the with this crap going on. This town is being destroyed. The car the other night, 5 kids stole Target, all their shit, threw in the car, took off. Right away, the 90s. That's if you're on a scanner. That's supervision at Chickawaga Police. Stop the chase. Stop the chase. They slam into 2 cars in William and Harlem. Yeah. People are injured. It's got to stop. You got to start calling these people in town hall. I am not blaming the police officers. I'm blaming their supervision and town leadership. They are so afraid of doing something. I'm done with the Floyds and this Dexter who got out of his car and shot 20 rounds at cops. They killed him. Everybody's up in arms. He was going to be a dermatologist or he was on the verge of creating the first real wiener out of a clam. I'm done with it. Well, and it's time good people stand forward and stop it.
Senior in high school, or I think it was a junior, down south, the history teacher gives them an essay and says he wants them to write about aliens. And the kid raised his hand and he said, do you mean like aliens like from outer space, or do you mean illegal aliens that don't have a green card? Well, everybody was taken back. He was given an at-home suspension and they they might expel him, and he's worried about going to college. And he said, look, that wasn't a shot at anybody. The news calls them aliens, and they don't have a green card. It wasn't Mexican, it wasn't Cuban, it wasn't anything. It was anybody illegal in the United States. The kid,
they're illegal.
They're illegal, and they're making a story about this poor kid who wasn't doing anything wrong. He asked a question.
A mom and dad somewhere in Indiana, their son shot up a school or something. Mm-hmm. They were charged with getting the weapon stuff
because they knew he was fucked up, and they bought him
I'm fine with that.
They bought him a gun. Okay?
But this accident with these kids the other night, why aren't their parents sued?
Well, again, it'll be parent, Tom.
Well, why isn't their parent sued?
Parent.
Because what's going on here?
Yeah.
And
the new thing is that let's rob cars, okay? And that has a lot of emotionally, physically, all kinds of problems for the people whose cars robbed, okay? Financially. And then they get their hands slapped, and then they go out the next day, and they're like rabbits running out of a van the next night, stealing everything that moves, and they do it and do it and do it and do it. And our judicial system is a effing joke. They should be sitting in juvies, detention centers until they rot.
They're beating up women on the streets of New York. No one's arrested. Yet the president's in there because of hush money, and that's the biggest thing since Adolf Hitler walked the earth. By the way, the biggest dictator in world history that never comes up, Chairman Mao. He killed 17 times the people Hitler did, and Hitler was a piece of shit too.
Right.
But look that up.
Yeah, and you know you're right about this. Okay, if I read this thing about this Trump trial, okay, a prosecutor failed to prosecute, said there wasn't anything there, okay. Then this is only a misdemeanor, but they said because there was another crime behind it, they're going to make it a felony. But they haven't said what the other crime is. How do you just start and say, okay? Then this is a kangaroo court. If I read this, I would say that this was happening in Moscow because it's been predetermined that he is going to be found guilty for this bullshit. Then they says they know that he's going to be campaigning, so they want to smear his name, smear his record, and then they're keeping him from campaigning for 6 weeks.
And speaking of Moscow for a second,
what a joke.
We had to bend over backwards and let no rock unturned, left unturned to get the hippie lettuce basketball star out. Yeah. And we still got that reporter in there.
Yeah, the hippie lettuce.
You know, it's unbelievable, but guys, we're being destroyed as we speak here. Yeah. We really are.
And Kamala Harris too. She comes out and says, it's absurd for our women athletes. Why aren't they being paid the same as men? Okay. Let me just say, I'm not sexist. This is not a sexist comment. They are not being paid as men because the WNBA has not made a profit in 23 years. They don't make any money and nobody goes to the games. It's subsidized by the NBA.
Right.
They got a league to play in. I'm not mocking them, okay? I'm just saying, you can't give somebody millions of dollars when your tickets are $4 each and nobody's coming.
You can when it's socialism. Yeah, and everybody gets the same.
See, that's right, because it's not capitalism, and a financial brain will tell you can't afford to pay those women to play that.
We had a group in Chicago planning to disrupt the Democratic National Convention. Okay, getting into the streets to put down America. They were teaching everybody how to say "death to America" in Swahili. All right.
Yeah.
What did we do? We hired a new State Department person to head up DEI or DEI, whatever the fuck. And she's talking about plantationism and colonialism. How about just the best get hired for the best, whatever color? If there's a doctor out there that can cure RP, and he's black, or he's gay, I could give a shit.
Or even if he went twanger,
But I don't need Dr. Mahoopna, who is only in because he fudged his marks and he was only wounded in a shooting with the police. I mean, no, seriously, it's got to stop. And I know. The young people don't lie. Why do you keep saying it? Because it really upsets us. And I got grandkids. You got a grandkid now.
Yeah.
They're growing up in this shit. And
it is shit.
Like we said last week, only you can stop satanic socialism. And that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
It is happening here. Who cares? Trump's a millionaire. Okay, that's Trump now. That could be you. And a few people that say, who cares about the bridge? Yeah. Who cares they shut it down? They're upset about things. Well, what if your
wife had a heart attack and you're in an ambulance and you can't get through?
Or you're trying to get to some lawn rolling job that you're overinflated the prices on that. Now you're stuck on the bridge for 5 hours. You got to pinch a loaf and a Johnny in the spot.
My wife's going to have a baby, or my wife had a heart attack and we're in my car. I'm going through people. I'm running right the fuck over.
I'm in the Galleria Mall, and somebody's coming down the hall on a bike and swings at my wife or my handicapped son. They're going up and over.
I'm begging they.
They're going down with me, and then I's going to get a lawyer and sues.
You want to just go there Friday night? Just said.
You know, honestly, you got to have Kevlar. You know, you really do have to have Kevlar.
I want a couple of shout outs. My buddy Bobby Crean gave me an example of the new Socialist Republic here. So he went to the Boulevard Mall. Now, you know, it's not the gonorrhea, but it's getting there. And he went into Macy's, I believe it was Macy's, doesn't matter. Wants to buy a purse for his wife for her birthday. High end. So he says, could you please take that purse out and let me take a look at it? She goes, we cannot remove it, sir. You'll have to look through the glass. And he said, excuse me? And she said, yes. She says, we've had a lot of thefts where we put it up on the glass and they just run with them. And nobody can stop them. And Bob goes, so is it a kind of a dark situation?
Listen, years ago working at ECMC, we'd go around the corner to the liquor store.
Yeah.
Or there was an AM/PM right up at the corner. You might want to go get like a pump and dump, get a sandwich. Everything was done with a robot arm.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, I've been out of there since 2010. Yeah. All right. The liquor store was all bulletproof glass. Give me a bottle of rum and coke, Bacardi. The drawer would open. You gave the money.
Yeah.
They give you the change, and the drawer would open. The bottle would come out. That wasn't because of colonialism or plantationism. That's coming everywhere now.
Yeah,
right? That's coming everywhere.
This is in an Amherst suburb, and they're coming in and stealing everything, so they have to do this. You know, for whatever's left open in the West, meaning Target or Walmart, when you go in there, everything's locked up. And if you ever I need a loaf of bread and I need some shaving cream. I got to go find Johnny Jip Joe. There's two working in the whole store and to open the plexiglass.
The other two were shot. A good dear friend of mine, God rest his soul, Norm Robinson, said nothing's free. And what you'll hear a lot of people say today is, well, they have insurance. No, nothing's free.
Nope.
Nothing is free. And now car insurances are going up because of the car thefts and stuff. Well, and
for you and me,
GR proudly advertises a lot of thefts with those Kias. Go to Clarence Collision. Hey, not knocking Clarence Collision, but how about stopping the
stopping where it happens
and charging those people for it?
So
how about a work camp for them?
We all know that insurance is shared risk. So anytime anything like this happens, we pay. Okay, when they go rob Target, when they go rob Walmart, we pay with the cost of what's in Target and Walmart. The insurance pays. And these people are so stupid.
And if you have
lack of education, lack of IQ, lack of common knowledge and decency.
If you have any buddies that are on the far left and maybe are a little, obviously woke or whatever, look at it this way. Target's getting robbed, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cost of everything is going to go up. So those new bikini briefs to stuff the balls in, those are going up. So it affects everybody.
Well,
Satanic
wait a minute.
Socialism.
No, the libs don't have balls. So they just...
No, but these guys, I want to be like Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Those are all hidden. Those aren't Easter eggs, by the way.
No, those are nice.
By the way, I just go back just real quick. We'll sum it up. I still laugh. I saw a video the other day of January 6th, and it was wrong. Those people were wrong. But a lot of serious mental midgets.
Oh, yeah.
That were pushed into it by now unfindable people with megaphones.
Yeah.
Can't find them. Never did find the 3 nuclear bombs planted there.
Yeah, right. The pipe bombs. Yeah.
They were in the ropes they have, like the banks. You wait in line or DMV.
Yeah.
They were in those lines. A lot of those people didn't even get out of the line. Like, look, this is the White House. Yet they broke into the Senate cafeteria for Genocide Joe. The summer of Floyd, when things were burned, police officers were killed.
Summer of Floyd.
That's not an insurrection?
No, it's not. Why?
Only you can prevent satanic socialism. Love y'all.
Take care, everybody.
So, Bills.
Oh, wait. Happy 3 weeks to my 3-week-old grandson, Owen.
By the way.
Love you, buddy.
Joe told him don't. They did.
They did it.
They did. So don't didn't work.
Don't didn't work.
And to keep our little bit of Sabres, little bit of Bills, little bit of Bandits, little bit of politics, then you're off. Don't.
Don't do it.
And don't did. Don't. Love everybody. Our action reporter in New York was on the case. He found a glove that might have been involved in a crime.
I saw it, Tim.
He found Tim on the work. He's doing the work in New York for us.
He's unbelievable.
Love the job you're doing.
He's absolutely unbelievable. So, anyway, good times, good fun.
Timmy and I broke the story of the disgruntled tenant when he was holding the entire restaurant of Alton's hostage with his shotgun. It was an unloaded shotgun. He was behind Alton's, but it was a Scouts honor hostage situation.
Yeah.
Timmy and I asked the first question, what's going on? And he answered, get the fuck out of here. We went into the drainage ditch. Later, Timmy bellied across to get our Bud Light. Back when Bud Light was Spuds McKenzie.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Love y'all.
Tell him we don't have it.
Oh.
Oh, wait.